It's the Hoosier Sophisticated Show. Question all the things that you know. Steve likes the weed, Steve likes the way about DMT. Hoosier Sophisticated Show. The Hoosier Sophisticated Show. Hoosiers with the drinks, sophisticated like sweets. The Hoosier. Question all the things that you know. So let's set our minds free for the singularity. It's the Hoosier Sophisticated Show. The Hoosier Sophisticated Show.
My coffee go?
Welcome, ladies, gentlemen, non-binaries.
No, it's
Sentient artificial intelligence, plant life, all
it's
the
over
like.
there. Hey, you can still hear me. Guess what? You can still hear me, Craig. Why? Why can you still hear me?
Buddy, I'm pretty juiced
Why
about
can you
these
hear
lav
me?
mics. I'm pretty juiced about the lav mics myself, pal.
Look at them. Look at them.
Guys,
look
welcome.
at it. Look at it.
Welcome. Would you just look at it?
Would you just look at it?
Sometimes all you can do is look at it.
Look at it.
You guys hear us all right out there in Hoosier Sophisticate land? Welcome to the 427 special of the Hoosier Sophisticate Show. All kinds of big doings. We're still holed up here in quarantine, Steve.
Hit us with chat. Yep.
I like
There
it.
we go.
There we go. All right, we got a driver. We got a driver in the driver's seat.
Scotty did a good job in your absence last week.
Scotty doesn't know.
Did a pretty good
that
job.
Mikey and me. Guys,
What's on the show tonight, Craig? Because
we got stuff. We got
people have been
things.
clamoring.
Yeah, we got all kinds
for
of
a
stuff
show.
and things. We talk about cannabis. We talk about psychedelics. So that's kind of what we do. That's our wheelhouse.
Everybody knows we talk about cannabis and psychedelics. How about our fan page?
Our fan page is litty titty right now.
It's out of control.
Our fan page is literally litty titty. There's a titty every second of the day.
It's great.
I'm not mad. I'm not mad at it.
Women are so, listen,
Empowered.
that's a good word for it. Better than the word I was thinking in my head. But the women of our group are powerful, and they are powerful with their sexuality, and they're willing to tell stories. We heard one of the best stories maybe I've ever heard.
We're
going
gonna
to
have
get
some
into.
freaky fun from the fan page later.
You're animals. You people are goddamn animals.
I love what's growing inside of the page, and you and I, we talk about trying to keep people on message, I guess, which we're always kind of trying to figure out what the message is.
What is it?
But it's I think it's just an open.
You should maybe move that mic to this side if you're going to be looking at me the whole time.
Oh, you like it? Yeah, I can do that.
I don't know. It's just maybe.
That's not a bad. That's actually a really good call.
That's
a really good call, bud. Really good
Where's
call.
mine at? Mine should be on.
Oh,
that
you're
side,
good.
too.
You're good.
Look at when I do this. Like
How's
people
that?
are like,
Hopefully
"It's crazy. It's tapping on there." Yeah, that's what we got now. That's what we got now.
But
staying on message.
So it's one of those things where. We want there to be plenty of Hoosier things, which I think gratuitous nudity, I think that reaches all economic circles, and
for sure,
so that's fair. But also, we want to keep a little bit of the sophisticated conversation taking place, and I think that I think we're doing a pretty good job. There for a while, it got to where it was.
We're doing a great job of that, man. Yeah, we're doing a real good job.
For a while, it was like,
what do you think, little magic moon?
Ooh, I like that. Yeah, we're gonna have to consult the.
Our fan page is horny. We got a big
quarantine, man. They should be.
We got a announcement for a dating show we're gonna do. We tried to do one back in the day on 590, and here's a funny little story about how radio works. A show I was kind of part of, I would say. I contributed to the show. I was got a late night show on the same station, 590, and I asked him if I could do a dating show. I had this wild idea. We were going to get our intern Roman at the time, have him get a couple ladies in there, ask some questions. We didn't really know what we were going to do. Well, I had to get it approved with management there at 590. What do you know? The morning show a month later announces they're doing a dating show, and then that day I get confirmation I can do the dating show. Good news is the dating show was a flop, except for old cess boy, Larry Nickel. And they asked him, they're like, "Oh, what, if you were an animal in the bedroom, what animal best describes you?" And he's like, "I'm a jackrabbit." I was like, "For real?"
That's a great fucking answer. It's a great answer. Like it's as close to a pneumatic fuck machine as you can find in the animal kingdom.
Right, like when there's Thumper?
Thumper? Yeah, I like it.
He did that shit. So that was fun.
So the dating show, I think, has huge potential. It'll be a great opportunity for us to all go out and go to Truman's and Soulard, support one of our sponsors. And our sponsors, let me just talk about how great they have been throughout this quarantine. Sweetleaf. There have been several people who have reached out on the page. Hey, look, I need some help. Where do we go? Where do I go? What do we do?
This show's presented by them.
It is presented by them.
We couldn't do it without them.
And
they're fucking great. They're great people.
They are great people, and they take care of our people, and that's the deal, right? We only want to have a sponsor that's not going to leave you high and dry, you know.
Rachel and Cynthia.
They came by. I think you were already on the way to the lake.
What kind of awful shit have they done in their life that they're trying to do so much good now?
I get it.
What kind of because that's the only reason I'm doing anything good right now. Like when I do all these things, like we gave that, we raised $500 for FAST, Foster Adoption Support Team. And Lance Dugan won the pipe, the glass piece, not a pipe,
no, it was an oil rig.
Work of art.
Yeah.
And he was so ecstatic. He was so happy. FAST is going to get money donated to them. People felt good donating. Like, it was a win-win-win-win. That was Sweetleaf making all of that happen.
Yeah, and to build on what Sweetleaf has already done, we've raised over $2,000 in just 2 giveaways for very noble causes. One to help out the Matthews family. Little Aubrey is kicking cancer's ass, and we're doing what we can to help her out. FAST was an awesome nomination, I guess, from our buddy Marty Radel. And that's the deal. Anytime that we can kind of reach out and positively affect the community while also maybe filling a need via raffle. There was somebody who was like, man, where can I get a glass oil rig for, $100 to $200? That's about my budget. And I'm like, well, hit up Sweetleaf for sure. But
CBD.
You know what? If you want, throw $5 at a chance to win a hell of a rig. You know. And Josh Ripple, unbelievable work. Check him out. Follow him on Instagram, Facebook. Like, dude, that dude's blowing some serious glass.
He had this one spinning, and it looked like a pretty regular bong, except it had a ball on it, and from the side it looked like the ball was cut in half. The back part was black, and the front part was clear. But then when you spun it around in front of the camera, it was a limitless universe inside of this glass bubble. You know how they make it seem like it has so much depth in there?
Yep.
It was unreal, dude. He blows straight heat.
No doubt.
On that thing.
No doubt.
Hey, bud.
And talking about blowing straight heat, we are sponsored by Native Hemp, and they make a tincture out of some of the best, most finely curated, cultivated CBD hemp, I guess. Total cannabinoid hemp, because that 1,800 milligrams of total cannabinoid goodness.
I love this shit.
It is awesome. Matter of fact, when I got here, it's crunch time. We're trying to put everything together. You got a routine. You're a closer. You're a big league closer. You got to have
like a middle
routine.
reliever who's like
a Lance Painter.
ERA of about 7 at the beginning of the year.
Tony Faucett, like towards the end.
Yeah, it kind of gets down to about 3.5. I find my groove in the middle of the year.
I miss baseball
I miss sports. I watch some football stuff. I did the Missouri Cannabis podcast and the story of Kurt Warner.
It's great.
And just doing the research on Kurt Warner and the fucking Super Bowl between the Steelers and the Cardinals was tremendous.
That was a great Super Bowl.
the Kurt Warner leading them down the field, and then Fitzgerald scoring that touchdown, and then Roethlisberger throwing. There were 3 guys up like this for the Cardinals. The ball goes and Santonio Holmes, I think, was the one who had to catch it, just tippy-toe in the back corner. Everything had to go perfect for that to work, and it did, and that's why sports are beautiful.
And also to build on that, the funny thing about football is the shelf life on skill players is so small that you just brought up a name, Santonio Holmes, that I'd almost all but forgotten, and that Super Bowl was not that long ago.
No.
That's just how it works. I mean, it's a lot of wear and tear on a body. I mean, you're getting hit by Mack trucks.
3 to 5 years now.
No doubt.
A lot of guys
that's what's amazing about
retiring.
guys like Emmitt Smith and everything. We're going to tell you, welcome to the Hoosier Sophisticate Sports Show. You guys.
Well, that's the thing about Kyle Turley too right now. He's claiming that CBD can help cure, allegedly, coronavirus, which I did research on my own, and you need some inflammation to defeat viruses. So you necessarily, and CBD is such a great anti-inflammatory that maybe it's not the best for that, like to cure that, but overall your homeostasis, keeping that prime, that's the fucking deal, man. No doubt. Keeping yourself healthy enough so shit like this.
Make sure you got good clean oil in your car, man. You know what I mean? Like you got to make sure the parts don't get all gunked up, dude.
Man,
you run a little 6-pack 440 Mopar, dude, and you let that thing get all gunked up.
You put Royal Purple in there.
She ain't gonna be purring ponies, dude.
You know, you go to 7-Eleven sells oral, okay, and you go there, you get Royal Purple from you get it from O'Reilly's, and you get yourself about 3 to 4 quarts of that. Get underneath there. You open the valve.
Give it a little lap.
You give it one of
these. Open the valve. That's my
valves.
favorite, dude. I use a 2-finger technique to get that valve open.
2?
2. I work it up to 4, but I get that 2 going. I do. I go with the bowling ball technique, man.
I spit it right in the fucking apples. We got a big show though. We got a lot of clips. I don't want this to be one infomercial.
Happy anniversary. To you and your lovely wife.
Thank you guys.
I was really happy to see that you guys got to get away a little bit. You brought up the Lake of the Ozarks just don't give a fuck.
They don't give a fuck.
Now, you say that. We were down there last weekend. All the people at the lake are like, keep your damn Corona in the big cities. You don't bring it here to your vacation spot and make us all
They ain't from the lake. They're fucking getting out themselves.
Everybody that's at the lake is there to get away from this quarantine.
No doubt.
nonsense.
And they're right up on you going, hey, catch anything?
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah. Spitting in each other's mouths. I was like, you should meet my friend Craig. Caught about 8 crappie on Saturday.
No bass?
No bass.
No sport fish?
I was trying, Josh from the fan page put me onto these things, Tulloch, not Loftus, put me onto these brush hogs that I tried. I got a few hits, but the water was so low on Saturday.
What's the deal with how low?
It's up.
Okay.
It's up now.
All
It's
right.
up. Okay, settle it. God
Open
damn.
up Truman.
God damn.
No, I want to talk to the Corps of Engineers.
Jesus.
Truman Lake is 9 feet
Settle
over fucking
down,
level,
buddy.
okay?
It's
They got the
okay.
dam still all closed up. Put some freaking water in the Lake of the Ozarks so the fish, so the anglers can get into these arms.
I'm with you, brother.
Come on.
Mike, start from the bottom. Start reading us some fucking all the best ones.
All right, we got Michael Farquhar, Alan Shaw
Farquhar?
likes
Farquhar?
movies, thankfully, since none of my other friends post them. Tiffany Jones, Rachel, and Cynthia make amazing baked goods.
Yeah, they do.
They do indeed.
Andrew Kidwell, Christopher Rachel Crawford, hey. Hey, Michael Farquhar.
Hey, girl.
Guys. Mike Lindor, got to be careful with that cure word.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I said allegedly.
I agree.
Yeah. Pretty sure there's enough alcohol at the lake to cure anything. What the hell y'all was at the lake?
Oh, is that Amber saying we were at the lake? Yeah, I think she's
They live there?
mad that we didn't. Close. They're all close. That's what the Grow Trade Fest is all about.
Oh, I know, but
Grow Trade Fest is this event that's happening in September 17th through
Can't
the 20th.
fucking wait.
And I
Turley's
can't
gonna be
wait.
there.
Kyle Turley is going to be there. A host of a bunch of people are going to be there. I actually interviewed, kind of stepped on your dick a little bit there. You were heading off to an anniversary. I slid right in, had a nice little conversation with Dr. Lisa Roark and Judy Thurston, who is an author. She's an author, man.
yeah, exactly. You
she's
got
an
this guy
author
interviewing
and
people.
grief
I can't
counselor.
even
Take it
fucking
up.
talk.
It's so funny because Steve's like, all right, well, it looks like you kind of went around my back. I'm like, hey, bud, you were in on the 93 messages.
That's true.
Asking for
That's true,
this
and I was
interview.
like, oh Jesus!
It was
the Grow
actually-
Trade Fest people again. My
I
Lord!
tried to kind
I'm
of
just
steer
kidding.
it away from it. We really didn't even really touch on cannabis too much. I of course kept interjecting psychedelics because
Oh, you
that's what
sick
I
pervert.
do.
You goddamn.
But and then I acknowledged many
physiological
times.
pervert.
I acknowledged many times how this was really Steve was more cut out for this job than I. But I can't wait to hear. You
He's the
need to sit
best.
down with Dr. Lisa Roark because
There's some
she's
dog
got
shit going on right now that's pissed me the fuck off. Did you see that?
Get me fired up, bud.
Somebody's questioning her license because in an article she said, yeah, it's pretty easy to get a cannabis card, a medical marijuana card. So now she's under investigation.
Oh,
'cause
is she now? I didn't see this.
She gave me my shirt.
Are you fucking kidding me? The fact it's like that. The fact that cannabis can be used for so many things. That's a strike against a doctor recommending it because God forbid they fucking prescribe the stuff, Greg.
Yeah, recommend it, yeah.
And just recommend it. And it's like we wrote the language as the people so we can get it.
Mm-hmm.
So
Because we understand people like Randall Williams, who runs DHSS, does not believe in cannabis as a medicine.
No doubt.
So we had to write the language.
And don't fuck with me. Everybody knows we kept the language loose to keep the pothead stoners from getting in trouble all the time. You can go to the doctor and you can say, you have something as a 36-year-old man
No doubt.
that ails you to the point
No
where you're
doubt.
like, cannabis can fucking help me.
There's no doubt. I've been searching for a cure to this elephantitis of the penis for years.
You were smiling about 8 seconds ago. You were just sitting on that one, weren't you? That was good. Oh, that was good. Well, it makes it bigger. Oh, it makes it bigger. Sorry, bro.
Fine, keep your cannabis away. This is how the world has to suffer. Check this thing out.
Sorry about you.
No, she did acknowledge, Dr. Rourke acknowledged that, like, through her MS diagnosis and then talking to her neurologist, like, she's like, I'm coming to you for confirmation, basically. I want to know what the scans are. I've got my own plan in place, I think, but, you know, she was willing to hear what they had to say. They're like, yeah, you have it, you have this. And he proceeds to write her a script that she didn't ask for, and she said, no, I don't want a prescription. I just wanted you to double check the work.
Yes.
Still wrote the script. And she's like, you know, so basically our conversation was talking about the opioid epidemic. Judy Thurston had lost a son last summer to overdose, 18-year-old kid. We've talked about it, man. I've had we buried my buddy Chad 2 months ago. We just recently had services for my cousin. All of us, I think, have been negatively impacted by the opioid epidemic.
Yeah, you talk about COVID.
Yeah.
You'll
doubt.
find a lot more people with a very personal story about opioids.
No doubt.
I haven't heard.
No
I
doubt.
don't want to make COVID. You can care about both things.
Totally.
But
Yeah, it's
the
not
way
zero-sum.
it's going with the opioid, and people are like, we call it the opioid epidemic now. Okay, is that good enough? No. When we're finding out that ibogaine has profound effects on people who are addicted to heroin, man, because it's easy to get addicted to heroin when you don't have anything else going for you. If you don't have opportunity and shit like that, like are you thinking of another elephantitis of the dick joke?
No, I saw that Missy said, I freaking wish.
She's like, is that what you call it? Like what it looked like before?
Yeah,
a little peanut.
Yeah,
little peanut.
She's like, no, it's not elephantitis. Your dick just looks like the elephant man, weirdo. Let me use my strong dick.
And Cher's just like mothering it. We have fun here. That's what we do. We get a little fired up though from time to time because it's fucking bullshit.
Well, it's hard to not get upset about it. And I was talking to Lisa as a medical professional. And if you guys want to check out this interview, Hoosier Sophisticate posted it. It's for the Grow Trade Fest, which is September 17th through the 20th. Tickets are available. It looks like we're probably going to be able to gather at that point. It looks like Governor Parsons ready to lift the quarantine here, so we can make prom happen. We can talk about that a little bit.
Ryan's gonna do a doo-wop thing, and I think I'm gonna try to get James Thomas. This is the first time I'm reaching out to him about it. Is here right now, but if he would come DJ and put on a little show,
I would love that. I would love that.
okay, we can. I didn't want to make that face. I didn't mean to make that face. I went to high school with him.
No, he's great.
I think I tried to text him though over something. He's like didn't respond.
So leading up
I'll
to it,
fucking wear that shit.
I think the opioid epidemic, and one thing I noticed having this conversation is that it does affect so many people, and there is not going to be one way to defeat it. We have to attack this thing from 100 different angles, and so whether that looks like Judy Thurston's she's a coach, she's a life coach, she's an author, so she teaches meditations. Like we have Missy, we have all kinds of people in the group that lead meditations, do coaching.
Heather, Diane,
no doubt.
There
are all kinds of. God, that's one thing I love about our group, man. There are some powerful, incredibly talented people. Whether that's art, whether that's wellness,
There's a dude who's been not posting in our page, but I think he's a part of our page, Charles Gaudier.
Dude, he's an
paintings.
absolutely unbelievable painter.
Unbelievable.
Yes.
And I know he was in our group, and he might have left.
I think he's there.
We got a
I think
lot
he's
of
still there.
lurkers.
I think
you know
he's still
what I mean?
there,
Like
yeah.
it's a very. I love seeing the post when someone says, "I'm so glad for stories like this one." I'm so glad someone invited me into this group. Do we want to hit them with that story real quick?
Well, I mean, I think now's as good a time as any. Mike, find
from
Freaky Fun from the fan page on
Just
there
scroll
and
down
then
a
kill the
little
mics,
bit.
bud.
Freaky Fun. Okay, do that.
Hey, it's the Hoosiers Facebook group.
Sophisticated Hoosiers.
And we like to talk about love and other stuff that helps us, but mostly it's about cum. Most of the memes are about cum, but then we try to make your life a little brighter. Look on the sunny side, man, and then grab your lighters and smoke some of that weed. Do that ketamine, cause we're talking about the things that you love. It's not a sex cult. Yeah, I said it's not a sex cult at all. Okay, maybe it's a sex. Oh, it's definitely a sex cult. It's definitely a sex cult. Definitely a sex cult. You gotta get in the bed gone. Good God.
Yeah, girl. You know, I'm just looking for a little princess to shove a pineapple in my ass and spit in my mouth. Call me a pig and tell me to hold my jizz until your parents can come watch. Yeah. No, go ahead and make it 3 fingers. Alright, we can shoot for 4. Okay, baby.
And now it's time for Freaky Fun from the fan page.
Greg, we had a post on our fan page. You want to let the people know about it?
It was a first-time poster, as far as I know.
I don't keep identities.
I don't know.
Sacred,
Yeah,
because-
sure.
We
I
have to,
don't
'cause
know
we're
that
on
I've
YouTube
ever.
and shit.
I don't know that I've ever seen this person post before. Fairly
don't-
new to the
I don't
group.
know.
I
I
checked
don't
to
know.
see when she joined. She came on about December of last year, so she's been around. She knows the ropes. She knows the ropes well enough to know that this is the place to come with this story.
To come, period. You could have just
To come, because mostly it's about.
come.
Thank you. So this post comes out, and I'm reading it this morning. Actually, I was on a little lunch break from building my deck.
Yeah, you
And,
son of a poor bastard.
And so she tells this story about just needing it, just holed up in quarantine, needing a little dick will do you, you know? So
Chicks in our group want to get dicked down. That's a nice place to
who
be.
doesn't want to get dicked down?
I feel like, you know, all the single guys in our group, like, you're welcome.
Fucking right.
You know what I mean? Like, we brought
We're
all these.
throwing out this dating
You're
game
welcome.
idea like we're handing you gold, people.
Yeah, you bastards.
So she makes this post, all right? She's got to go hook up. And she is like almost in a guilty tone, like, look, I'm not proud of my actions. I did what I had to do, what my body urged me to do. She lays out this scenario where she ends up hooking up with a SoundCloud rapper. And which is hilarious because before, like when I read SoundCloud rapper, I had like an idea that popped up in my brain, and then I read the next sentence confirming that idea
Well,
that
Zan.
popped up in my brain. So apparently, you know, you guys get it. It's a you know, late teen, early 20 Caucasian male, got an Ed and Eddie haircut. Probably some tattoos on his face. Plenty of tattoos above the neck.
Kind of look like a emo goth, like goth.
Well, that's the deal,
emo,
right? Like Lil Xan, all these people.
And they got shit in their mouth all the time. They got that shit.
Shit in their mouth,
They
sure,
got,
sure.
they got a shit in their mouth all the time, man. Little Xan's always good, man.
What is the deal?
If I had one fist to punch one face, that's what I would do, Craig. I got the whole world in my hands. I got the whole wide world in his hands. He got the whole world in his hands. He got the whole world in his hands. And so Little Xan's a piece of shit.
Dude, no doubt. I don't listen. I remember giving my brother. Was that word? Remember?
This is the guy you picked to interview.
Just sit with that, Jennifer.
Jesus, Jennifer.
My brother's over a decade younger than me, and so when his he and his
Accident.
boys. He and his boys. Oh, totally. He and his boys were in high school.
Unwanted.
You know, we're sitting there. He probably was the most wanted out of all of us, to be honest with you.
Now he definitely is.
No question.
For show.
So anyway, trap music was kind of coming onto the scene.
God damn
and
it,
I just
why?
don't get it. Like, I get the beats because I've always been kind of a
I got a little beat fetish.
West Coast, dirty South style rap. Give me something that slaps. I don't need to hear fucking Walt Whitman spit 7,000 words in a minute.
I do like
want to
that.
hear a beat that
like
fucking
that.
makes my hips do the thing. So I get that
To the window,
about trap.
to
But
the
I
wall.
still have
Fuck.
to have some lyrical substance. And by substance, I mean enunciated
Actually,
words that I understand out of the
I don't
lexicon.
know.
I just don't get
I
it.
don't
You
know.
get it. We've talked about this.
I remember the fucking
Lifetime commercial, you killed it. No doubt about it.
Thank
So
you.
anyway, so whatever. This whole scene where it's like everybody's got to get barred out, get zanned out, bro, and just get faded as fuck, and then listen to me chew with peanut butter and or sing with peanut butter and marbles in my mouth. Drives me crazy. Whatever.
You are so old.
Drives me crazy.
Sir, goddamn it, get off my lawn, you little rapper. You little whippersnapper rapper.
It's just a lot of junk. A lot of junk poisoning the brains.
I mean, fuck, the guys
Listen,
we were listening
whatever.
to were talking about sipping on some scissor, sipping on some sipping on some scissor.
I get it, dude.
I hated 3-6 Mafia.
get it.
I'm sorry, unpopular opinion time.
I get it.
I didn't like 3-6
I like
Mafia.
Project Pat standalone. I just
I
didn't
like
really
Project
much
Pat.
care for. Yeah,
And I liked a few of what that fucking kid. He was the little white guy of the group, fucking popping pills.
Paul Wall?
No. He was the little. He was popping pills. All of his songs were like.
That's fucking.
Xanny
I don't get it.
Oxycontin, Xanny ball. You know what I'm talking about, though, right? Mike?
Okay, so
The
now
white guy
you see
from-
how an opioid epidemic is born. It's like this glorified, whatever. Anyway, this is the
You're so
date.
old,
This is the
dude.
guy that the guy
I'm
goes
on
on.
4 fucking Xanny bars right now. You get
I
on my
know. I
level.
haven't stopped judging you from the second I sat here months ago.
I got issues inside, man. Because that's usually what it's about.
No doubt. It's just an
Lil White?
escape.
Lil White.
Oh fuck! Well,
Remember
that
Lil
was
White?
What a discovery that was. Lil White. Jesus. What the? Well, he thought long and hard about that one. Guys, no, I'm good. I'm gonna sing about drugs. I'm just missing the name. I need some help on the name.
How about I couldn't think of it, and I was like, the white guy from
the little white guy?
I know.
You know, the little white guy talks about popping pills. What was his name?
Lil Xan's got me faded.
This is the gal that this broad decides to shack up with. This is the guy this broad decides
Let's
to
read.
shack
Let's
up
read
with.
some comments before we get further into the story. Mike, start from the bottom.
We got
Don't give away the
Chicken
story.
Head was the rap. Mac
What?
Miller.
What? I dig Mac
Mac,
Miller. It's
if
fine.
you know any of their names is a bummer.
That-
Lil White.
It's-
Craig and I just started hooking up.
Who are saying these?
Oh, Mystic Bliss. Craig
Okay.
and I just started hooking up, and he would tell me about freestyling with you guys to impress me.
I'm lost on that one.
You used to freestyle? I got in some mad ciphers. You want to hear something fucking great? Okay, so we went through a phase where we were fucking rapping. A little sub story in between our Freaky Fun from the fan page. It's quick. I was in college and we were dating strippers at the time. My buddy was dating them first. It was a whole mess. We went to their place. They weren't there. They were out. We took our buddy B-Day. B-Day's, I think, part of the page. B-Day went with us, and we would just stand in a circle. He had a DJ buddy. We were nerds, dude. And so we're rapping, and all of mine, it was like kind of like the joke. And I think a rapper does it now, or a comedian, where it's like,
No doubt.
dude, I'm walking down the street, out hanging meat. I grab a guy's dick. Wait, what was I saying again? And you always go to the gay place, and they're like,
Sure.
Jesus Christ. And I was like, now this is the only thing I can rap about. I'm really good at it. You know what I mean? So then it just evolved to what I kind of do around the campfire today. You know what I mean? It all started from there.
It plays. It's awesome.
I puke there. We're rapping, and some guy hits me with bars so hard, it makes me puke. It's so good, it makes me puke. I go to the bathroom, puke out all of the booze, everything. I come back out, I'm like, I need something to fill my stomach. I get sun chips, French onion sun chips, and I'm mowing them down. Well, you know, sun chips are like that weird consistency.
Multigrain, yeah.
I start getting a belly ache.
It's like chewing corrugated multigrain.
The worst. So I go into the bathroom and I'm like, well, you got puke again. Well, all the liquid was out of my body by then. So I go into the bathroom.
now you're dry
and I
heaving
go,
sun chips.
and they're coming out as turds. I pooped out of my mouth. It's the first time I've ever pooped. Only time I've ever pooped out of my mouth.
this story. This is
I was like, "Ugh," and it was coming out super slow, like I was making fucking.
So you just had to keep
pork
retching?
sausage in my fucking throat.
Daddy, would you like some
sausage? Daddy, would you like some sausage? Back to the family.
Okay, so this gal goes and hooks up with this guy. All right, and whatever. She says it wasn't bad. Says old boy showed up for the fight. Good for him.
Good for him.
Fucking right. Way to go. Face tattoos. You're the man. I'm not knocking face tattoos. I have friends that have face tattoos that are awesome. It's just face tattoos on a 120-pound, pale white, black-haired.
I'm not here to judge anybody.
I'm judging everybody. No,
I'm not
anyway,
here to
so
do
here's the deal. So this whole story is built on judgment. You be the judge. All right. Listen. So
We're just putting it out there.
I'm telling you a story secondhand that was told today. She wakes up. She rolls over.
I just pulled a muzzle.
Hey, little cock, or whatever the fuck his name is.
Little cock.
Little cocky.
Oh, dude, everybody.
All right. Turns to him and says, you have any coffee? You make some coffee. And he goes, I'm going to have to see if my mom has made any coffee yet.
I get that.
Okay, so
I get that part.
he's living, she's banging him at his mom's house. That's fine. Hey, listen. None
This
of us
chick's
are above
horny.
It. None
This
of us
chick's
are,
overly
and none of
horny.
us are above it. We've all taken a gal back to mom and dad's place and taken them to town. It's happened. It's
I
happened
know.
before. Like, that's not a big deal.
How old is this gal? Do we need to have a talk with her?
I don't know.
Somebody need to take her under a
I don't know.
wing
No,
or
she's
something.
very remorseful. Anyway, so he goes downstairs to get the coffee. I'm gonna go see if my mom made some coffee. Goes down there. Comes back. Mom didn't make any coffee, but she said, we don't have any coffee, but we do have this. This is the morning. He brings a plate of cocaine back to the bed. And God love our page, because the first 6 answers were, well, I think I'd probably,
How was the coke?
yeah, I think I'd probably do a fat rail before I have a blood.
How was the coke?
And she's like,
yeah, it was
naturally.
pretty good.
Yeah, it was
pretty
great. It was actually really good.
Yeah, I know.
And then someone was like, I think it's kind of telling that the mom thinks that cocaine is a substitute for coffee. Which, I mean, if it's good.
Yeah. I mean,
It's,
I knew
you
a
know.
rich guy who had really good
Let's
coke
talk
one time.
about the similarities.
Cleve did.
Okay. Let's talk about the similarities. Cocaine will probably give you a fair amount of energy for a short amount of time.
It's gonna make
it
you
will
poop.
probably make you want to poop.
Make it poop.
It has the potential of making you talk a lot.
It's like gag reflex.
I do coffee.
It's like gag reflex,
Jesus
Mike
Christ.
says. I don't know how he's drinking
I don't know,
coffee.
yeah, that's odd. I do snort.
I put my coffee on the end of cylindrical things. I jam into my gag reflex.
Oh, it's the best way to do coffee. It's so good.
This coffee is
I'm getting a rush. Choke me.
Oh, fuck, I'm hard.
I sometimes will take, like it's 1 teaspoon per cup or whatever, or like 1 tablespoon, I think is what the Folger says. Well, I'll take 1 tablespoon and put it on Jenny's cups, you know what I mean, her titties, and I put 1 on each, and I just go.
Oh,
and
doing
just
coffee snooters?
Coffee snooters.
Coffee
up Jen's teeth.
snooters.
So it is exactly like Coke.
Anyway, this story was met with about 70 different comments. I laughed steadily, and she was here for it. She's like, guys, you have done a great job of making me both feel great and absolutely roasting me, which is exactly why I came to this page to post it. Buddy, as far as fresh internet content goes, original internet content goes, it's about as hard as I've laughed at anything original on the internet in a long while,
so
bud.
good. I commented a half an hour later. I was like, so how's the Coke?
She's like, read above.
Yeah, I know. That's what I love so much about it. I'm like, beat me to it. And like, I'll go to comment shit, and like Tom Lucido did that the other day, commented something, which kudos to him for having us out.
No doubt.
His little spot at the
Great
Lake
dude.
Videos Arts.
Great dude.
What a dude. What a good little tribe he's got out there. Fucking
No doubt.
nice little piece of land that he fucking said we can go out there anytime we want.
No
so
doubt.
if you guys want to fucking party,
Yeah, Rager and Tommy's joint.
we know how to get there. And he doesn't have any gates.
No gates.
No
Just
gates.
armed neighbors.
Just armed neighbors. Yeah. Speaking of armed neighbors, do I want to?
Yeah,
no,
sure.
No.
Okay.
No, maybe not right now.
Whatever.
I will.
I was going to tell you no.
Okay.
Hey, fucking listen to your boss.
I'm gonna do it now.
You have no idea how spiteful this
Listen,
little man is.
they'll figure it out sooner or later.
All right, where are we at in this thing? Is it time for a commercial break? You want to touch on something else?
Read
5 minutes in.
the rest of the comments. It's all Kyle. We'll read them. It's okay. Read a few. It's all Kyle. It's all Kyle. It's all, you got to talk in the microphone though. You got to move the microphone over to you.
Right, Kyle wants to know what's her name and where does she hang out these days? Laughing his ass off.
Perfect.
Mike Linder, champion.
Put that microphone like actually to your mouth, like you've been on the show. No, it has. It's a cardioid mic, so yeah. So it has to be like that. Yeah.
All right, Missy. It was the mom's birthday. J.I. Reese. I read this shit this morning. He's laughing. Kyle, in all fairness, they'll both do a number on the heart. I guess he was talking about the cocaine and the coffee. Missy Bliss, Sophisticated Hoosiers, in the front page of Facebook. Woohoo!
It's about the only reason I get on Facebook for real.
The UPS driver came back today.
Oh, nice.
Your microphone's not picking it up.
So we're gonna have to ask. We're gonna have to. Is he plugged into 3?
Yep.
Is that on?
Yeah, it is.
Aren't you two on?
We'll figure it out.
Anyway, Michael Forcourt, if you don't mind putting in the comments what the UPS guy said to you this time when he came out, because the last time I think the UPS guy delivered maybe sex toys.
No, your packaging is.
I like to have some fun with them. I don't want to. I want everybody to be a little bit personalized, so I don't ever really write the same thing. I'll write something that might be a little similar.
Look at you! You're so passionate about it.
I just think about it. I'm just thinking about you guys. I'll tell you what, though. I went to drop these off at the UPS joint, and the fucking guy, pay attention. Pay attention to how you're putting the labels on there, bud. I put time and effort into writing things on it. You put a label across the front
He
of it.
don't care.
What the hell?
He didn't care.
What the hell, buddy?
He didn't care about you.
What the hell, pal?
He did not care about you. All right, let's hit him with a little short video.
Which one you want to give him?
What I want you to do too is let's hit him with an. We'll hit him.
Native Hemp's a good one.
Well, let's hit him with Ryan's and Ari's song,
Okay.
Okay.
and that way they got something awesome.
Little celebration of the fan page of this group. I love this song. It fucking does slap. It bangs.
It
You can play it
slaps.
anywhere.
I'm like, ooh. and
Aaron
then-
kills it, and dude, Ryan,
He's a star.
he is a
Whip your dick out, pal, because you're a star.
he
You're a big,
is
bright,
a
beautiful
star. He is a star. Don't you know that you are a shooting star? Don't you know? Ryan,
Sorry, that was
Ryan
good.
Bradley
That slaps.
absolutely goes off on these verses. And
Dang, got it titties out.
so let's give him a little bit of that. Mike, kill the mics. And
Wait, I want you guys to do something. We're gonna have the dating show. Maybe nominate people, tag them in who you think would be good for the dating show. Tag them in, and when we come back from
now,
break,
are we
we'll
doing
read them.
3 men, 1
Here's
girl?
what I'm
Or are we
thinking.
doing? Or do we do 2? Do we do 3 girls and 1 guy?
I think we do, because there's gonna be more guys than girls. I think there's about 3 or 4 girls who are really interested now. We do rounds. So like in a night, we'll do 3 and 1 girl, or maybe 2 girls. And then in the same night, do 3 more guys and 2
I like the
more
idea
girls.
of 2 girls because 1 guy is going to
Is
get left
fucked.
out.
Yeah,
I
that's what I
love
want.
that.
At each other, right?
No, they're going to be a screen, and they're going to ask
love
them
it.
questions like, "What animal are you in the bedroom?"
I
And we'll
love
write
it.
the questions.
We
that the
will
girls
write the
have.
questions.
So the girls don't shit their pants
Yep.
on live, whatever this is.
Totally.
Yeah, even though that would have way more views.
If we
than
could
our
get
show.
just
We
one of
girls
you to
would
shit your pants on a live, it would go
It would help
fucking
us.
real
It
big,
would help
real
us a
big
lot.
viral. I'll throw a couple shirts in on it if you're willing to shit your pants in public.
Yeah,
you know?
Jason will throw in a
Yeah,
pipe.
we'll
from chilling
we'll
or
get some
something.
shit. If you're willing to sit on a live stream and shit
shit.
yourself, you know what? The world is your oyster. You name it, we'll make it happen. All right, Mike, let's mute the mics and let's give them a list of Ryan and Nary.
Yeah. We ain't nothing but everyday people. Living our everyday lives. Facing our everyday struggles. Yeah, we got different views. We come from different places. We all around different. But we choose to sit at the same table. I know what I am. Do you?
I am a Hoosier.
It's in my blood, it's in my veins.
Sophisticated.
And I ain't ever gonna
I am a
change.
Hoosier.
It's in my heart, it's in my
I am
soul.
sophisticated.
listen to
in
this.
a sex room.
Well, maybe it is. We at the Spanish Society jamming all night. If we get way too drunk, then we crashing inside. Cause we all brought a 10 and we knew this could happen with smokes in the air and the beers are cracking. I'm playing Lorana. I'm knowing my luck is up. Lost all my money. The kids playing Chuck-a-Luck. I'm pretty wasted. I hope they don't kick me out. Now it's a party. Diane got her titties out. Ain't no party like a Southside party. It's an upstairs, downstairs, outside party. We got Craig on the mic. Steve strumming like you can't believe. Brian on harmonica and Angie on the tambourine. When I'm throwing washes, it ain't no more Mr. Nice Guy. We all come together when it counts. Shout out to Vibe Tribe. Hey, Bobby Battlehawk, I hope you like the new song. Wait a minute. Who's that dude with the Daisy Duke song?
Let me hear your Battlehawk cry. It's the Bobby Battlehawk Show. Dude, man.
Through the highs and the lows, we're the ones you wanna keep close. Through the ups and the downs, we'll be around. Hey, one more time, babe.
Through the highs and the lows, we're the ones you wanna keep close. Through the ups and the downs, we'll be around. I am a Hoosier.
It's in my blood, it's in my veins,
Sophisticated.
and I ain't ever gonna
I am a
change.
Hoosier.
It's in my heart, it's in my soul.
Sophisticated.
I ain't afraid to let them know.
We are the Hoosiers.
And together we will stay.
Sophisticated.
Every woman, every
One thing
man.
you must know.
Hey y'all, listen to
In a
this.
sex room.
Well, maybe it is. We sharing our memes, we sharing our dreams, the drugs that we love and our favorite teams, discussing religion and politics, what we like, what we hate, and everything in between. We watching the show, Monday at 7, we might go to hell, we might go to heaven. Lord forgive me for my sin, I'm in Facebook jail again. Ain't no family like that hoe, so family tell the DJ we got a full house. No, Danny tell him turn it up, crank it up, light it up and dance a bit, then go talk to the boys about the benefits of cannabis, CBD, DMT, they know all about it, bro. Be glad to have a drink, but support if you go without it though. They love to talk and love to listen about anything. No matter what's going on, they about to entertain. It don't matter where you're from, it don't matter where you've been. I heard rumors about this group, pay no attention to them. Yeah, I wasn't sure if I fit in, now it's too late. Wait, what you mean? I already drank the Kool-Aid.
James Carlton. Insurance 314-961-4800. Handsome. Amazing. Astonishing. Astounding. Fabulous. Incredible. Fantastical. Phenomenal. Prodigious. Stupendous. Unbelievable. Wondrous. Divine. Fantastical. No, seriously, he's fantastical. You got a house. Go on and get it insured. You got a car. You gotta get it insured. You got a life. Go on and get it insured. CarltonInsurance.net. Fantastical. Stupendous. Fantastic.
Do you take our insurance and are you cannabis friendly? Yeah. And they all said no. And then at that last phone call, that 8th phone call, I was like, do you know anybody that is? I'm desperate. I've called 7 other people. You're my 8th phone call. Yeah. At this point, I'm crying my eyes out. And this lady just felt bad for me and said, hold on, let me call you back in a few minutes. And they called me back and they said that they would take him, but under a certain amount of conditions. And the main condition was that if they felt that cannabis was not working for him, then they would take him from us and put him in and Child Protective Services, and then they would take the other 2 kids too. Oh, because they were both underage.
Then
and we would be charged with child endangerment.
So they'd go to federal prison.
Yeah, we would go to federal prison. So we said, bring it on.
Come to Privilege, I got good price.
8 inches and $2 for game time.
Raisins. No, this is one of the best Cubans. I try a Cuban everywhere I go, and this is one of the best damn Cubans I've ever had. And we've got a little white cheddar mac here with a little cracker mac. Life changing, incendiary.
Everywhere I go, I try the Cuban. This time I didn't. I got the grilled cheese bacon burger.
Look at that thing.
With put some pepper jack on there, some jalapenos, and we got some crinkle fries. And all I can say is, oh baby, grow baby.
As you can see, this was once a delicious plate of coconut scrimps, and I devoured it. And if I had to say, if I had to give a review real quick, I'd say it's an orgasmic feast of the senses.
And I love meat. Hey boys and girls, I'm talking about native hemp extract. That CBD. That CBD. Get inside of me. Inside of me. That CBD. That CBD. Sweet delicious CBD. That CBD. That CBD. Got the CBD. That CBD. That CBD. You can get it from me. I can. That CBD. That CBD. Inside of me. Inside of me. That CBD. That CBD. Get inside of me. Inside of me. Get inside of me. Inside of me. Inside of me. Inside of me. No. Inside of me. Sodomy. Inside of me.
Native hemp extract. 1,800 milligrams of total cannabinoid goodness from Pike County, Illinois. Get yours at HooterSophisticate.com.
Get inside of me.
Welcome back.
Get inside of me.
Thanks for
Inside of
sticking
me.
around
Inside
for the
of
sponsors
me.
that make it all happen.
Inside
I
of
love
me.
CBD and sodomy.
Inside of me.
And honestly, I do feel like I'm operating better cognitively.
That's the way I feel.
I feel like
I really do.
You guys,
I really do.
You guys sound better. You sound better. I mean, your mind, your quick thoughts from the moment you took the CBD, it was like, holy shit, a switch flipped.
Well, now you sound kind of like an asshole. Like you're kind of fucking with us a little bit, Mike. Yeah, you guys got way smarter when you guys. What? Something's weird with the mics.
Let's try that. I don't know. Hopefully we sound better. Do we sound better, guys? Is there anything a little? My mic is off. That's possible. All right, go
Your mic's off.
My mic's on now.
How is that? Is that better?
That should be. It should be.
You don't want to get caught talking. I actually thought outside. I was like, when's that gonna fuck us? When we're like, man, snorting ketamine and what's going on in the fucking loudspeakers.
I'm just being. You can't be too careful. Can't be too careful.
The FBI. If
these
heard
mics
our...
work way far away. So yeah, you guys couldn't possibly hear what we say behind the scenes. You guys are getting the heavily edited version of who we are.
I don't want the powers that be to be picking our back conversations up with their analog digital readers of voice modulations, you know?
Sure.
Because that's where they're picking that shit up now. I've been reading more on the AI, because I used to bring an AI article to the show every once in a while.
Yeah.
And I read this article. I mentioned it on John's interview, which you haven't checked out our interview with John on the
Quarantine Tapes with John Payne.
It's awesome. That was fun.
It was a lot of fun.
He's gonna buzz his head if they raise $20,000 for the.
Our buddy
Grove.
Sean Baltzel
Yeah.
has got an initiative going, a fundraiser going to help out all of the industry workers that work in the Grove. Sean's a great dude, former sponsor of the show. He's a part of You Forever.
Tattooed me.
Tattooed your bung.
No, not my bum.
No, he got in there and tattooed around the balloon.
It was the exact replica of the Lord of the Rings insignia.
Yes,
too.
I can't believe he knew that. He free-handed Elvish around your knot.
Who knew that? Who knew
That's
that
amazing.
guy could do that?
Sean's a great dude, and we spent a lot of good times down in the Grove with our fans. We've had a lot of fun down there, and I love the Grove. I love what the Grove represents. I feel like I was just down in Midtown the other day, just kind of driving around and then coming back into the Grove, and I'm like, man, 20 years ago, some people started taking a chance on a neighborhood that
started taking a chance on a little town like
on
that.
a little strip of town full of miscreants. But honestly, the Grove is undergoing this amazing transformation, and there's fucking awesome condos down there now, and people are choosing to live down there.
Was that a tranny joke?
It was not no. Don't put words in my mouth.
That sounded like one. He's like Dave
People
Chappelle.
that I love.
You're like Dave
in my
Chappelle.
family are trans. I love them with.
Me
you
too.
Be what you want to be.
I love all that shit. I really do. Like I'm flabbergasted at people that are like, oh, fucking dude dressed up like a chick. What's he doing? Ah! I'm salivating.
You're bringing up a really interesting.
It's weird that people get worked up about.
Well, you're bringing up an interesting thing that I was thinking the other day with the fan page in general, because it got a little chippy there for a minute too. You know, sometimes it's boobies and sometimes it's people just taking pot shots. And I am always kind of blown away by the shit that people choose to be mad or angry about.
Here's the deal. I text all those people. When I see them fighting on the page, I'll text them. Be like, what's up?
I love it. You're just a little moderator.
10 times out of 10, they're like, oh, dude, I'm sorry. I was being shitty on there. I was just fucking having a bad day. And I'm like, I get it. I am the biggest piece of shit alive. Like, have been the biggest piece of shit alive. That's why I know Rachel and Cynthia have done some terrible shit in their lives. I'm watching you guys, okay? This is penance. To go back to the article with the CBD, helping me get right back to where I was. The quarantine tapes, I mentioned this article on there. China has a vast surveillance program right now, and they're quickly becoming the world's biggest consumer. Just consumer of products and goods and labor and service, all of it. Mm-hmm. Right now, obviously, America consumes far more than any country per capita. So this article was stating a few years ago, some generals got together, and how many meetings are going on in Washington about, hey, 5 years down the road, 10 years down the road, we got to think about this, we got to think about this, we got to kind of, here's our bottlenecks. Here, you've been a part of those fucking meetings where they're like, hey man, here's how a business is run, and where are your bottlenecks? What are your strong points? What are your, in the government, they have all those protocols to find things, that's just how it's operational. So this article in the Mint Press News said that in these generals' papers, there were a lot of things that said, we are losing the war on data. Data is the new oil. We're losing the war on data. Because I have seen, maybe this was on Vice, I forget what it was, but it was about the cameras on the highways in China. And apparently they were cracking down on people having sex in cars or something. Like that was like the biggest thing. They had these bars over their highways there that had 60 cameras on them. Like an amazing amount of cameras, like Minority Report amount of cameras scanning each eye that comes in and says, hey, Craig, you want some more Banana Republic salmon pants? You know what I mean? Like they get to you. They get to you. Yeah, I love those eyes. They look so good.
I fucking spilled bleach on them.
No, you didn't. No, you didn't.
Well, I didn't spill bleach on
him.
him.
I'm sorry.
I was doing a little maintenance. The kitchen drain was clogged up.
Look at you,
and of course,
decks, drains.
and of
God
course there was
damn.
there was Mr. Plumber or Drano, Liquid Plumber or
God,
Drano or something that was in the deal, and I'm like, I even thought before I went in there, I'm like, I should probably just change into some bullshit clothes. I'm gonna be fine. Sure enough, just a little clump fell out, splashed the and I'm like, well, looks like I'm gonna be bleach dyeing these pants now. So I'm gonna do something real cool with them, man.
Yeah, bleach dye. Anywho, these generals' report came out, and there are all these things stopping them from doing the mass surveillance that China's doing. Good. In America, because in the report it says it would affect the Americans' way of life. It's against the Americans' way of life to have that much data collected on them. Bullshit. That's what fucking Vault 7, WikiLeaks exposed, Snowden exposed. It's what the NSA has been, it's been their job, and we did it under the guise of, well, if you ain't a fucking terrorist, then don't worry about it. We're just collecting all of your data, selling it. You're worth millions with the choices you make with your electronics. We get that, though. You don't get that. We're making money off that. And it's like they hid it from us because they thought we'd be mad, and then we found out, and we're like, that's fucked up. Arrest Edward Snowden. And we're like,
I don't think anybody was like that.
You don't think people were like, if he comes on U.S. soil, he should be arrested?
I think that any American that
because I've heard politicians say it.
Oh, no doubt. I was going to say no one in the general public thought.
Well, that's good because
the
right.
the general public,
I've heard someone say.
Well, I mean, maybe the most hardcore, the most hardcore like nationalist who really thinks that the government is benevolent and has our best interests in mind. Maybe they were like, man, someone should really arrest Edward Snowden. But like anybody that actually saw what he did, Americans should. You want to march on the mall in D.C.? There should be 10 million of us sitting outside there saying, "Bring this dude home, and all the shit that he pointed out that you fuckers have been doing, fix it. Oh, by the way, make sure that he's taken care of for the rest of his life." He wrote a fucking book. There's been movies that come out. He's not allowed to make any money off of anything that he creates, any of the movie, anything. The government has seized all book sale money and everything because he is a threat to the Republic.
It's unbelievable.
It's ridiculous.
We have whistleblower is akin to conspiracy theorists. Like, oh God, a fucking whistleblower? How dare that person go against company policy or not toe the fucking line? But back to this article, China is killing it in data surveillance. They're going to be able to sell this data to other countries so they can learn all this other thing. There's a whole market for data right now that I don't quite understand. What they wanted to do is deplete some of those, some of our freedoms that keep us from having all of our data collected and sold all the time. And what the coronavirus has done with lockdown and these things that have been put in place by governors, and they were alluding to that some of the things that are being progressed with coronavirus and the COVID-19 are kind of like the blueprint to get some of these mass surveillance things done in a legal way. Like, they have lawyers that are just, their jobs are every day to think, oh, well, Americans would probably, if we tell them we're going to catch a terrorist, we're just looking for keywords. Every American goes, yeah, I need someone. I used to accidentally say Shiite all the time on my phone instead of shit. I'd be like, oh, Shiite, man. And of course, I was probably talking about weed too. So I'm like, I got weed and Shiite 1,000 times. I'm sure the NSA was like, bing, 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 like a fucking slot machine in there. I'm like, God damn, probably shouldn't have been doing that. So, well, we're just trying to catch terrorists. Well, what happens when they think Edward Snowden is a terrorist? We have fucking problems then, man.
You bring up such a great point, because the first off, we are so polarized right now that anybody that questions the narrative from either side is immediately being shot down by half of the people participating in the conversation. Yeah. The Patriot Act is a real fucking thing. It was
the Patriot Act.
It is a mass, exactly. It is a massive, don't ever think that the government won't take a chance on nationalistic propaganda. They pay the NFL for the flyover ceremony and the Pledge of Allegiance, and the national
those huge
anthem
flags
and the national anthem. They pull it out. The NFL
It's
makes
recruiting.
millions of dollars a year. It's set aside in the defense budget for all of the pro sports to do these things.
Yes.
People lose their fucking mind over Colin Kaepernick, which whatever. Like I feel like that whole thing was like people were making it about what it wasn't, and even with COVID-19, with people that are marching on the mall, there was this false equivalence where they're like, well, if you're okay with this, why aren't you okay with this? Well, first off, they're two different conversations.
We do that all the time.
But
Still have a
these
problem doing
whataboutisms are ridiculous.
Yes.
The Patriot Act's a real thing. It happened in response to the largest terrorist attack on our soil since Pearl Harbor. And of course, on 9/12 of 2001, every house had a American flag in front of it.
Well, that was like a Hitler thing, but like a flag.
Yeah, it had flying. Yeah, like every house had one. The amount of patriotism, quote unquote, nationalism,
that was cool,
at an
too.
all-time high, and it feels good, man.
Yeah.
It feels good to celebrate our warriors. That's why throughout all of history, after a war had ended or whatever, there was always these big coming home parades, and hell, back in Roman times, they would bring back an asset from the enemy, like a king or whoever they overthrew, and they would do a public execution at the parade, and people would get all riled up. We're the winners. These things are these things have always happened throughout time. So when people get mad about people saying, "Whoa, we got to be careful with what we're allowing them to do during this pandemic."
Yeah.
People are like, "You don't think this is serious?" Fuck yeah, I think it's serious.
I think it's
so
very
serious. I think it's so serious that we don't have time to participate in their stupid little politics game that they're pinning against one.
Yeah.
Yes, we are fighting this thing together. Maybe the best way to do that is by staying home for a long time for flattening out. But please also let us not forget that we are still us. We still have the right to move freely. No matter what the fucking rest of the majority decided is the right thing to do, that is antithetical to what it is to be a free person, which to me is what this whole thing was founded on. And yes, the game has changed progressively. As a matter of fact, people were like, the government can't keep me from moving. Well, actually, in 1904, the government said the Supreme Court said they could mandate vaccines. A guy took it all the way for a smallpox vaccine. I think he was maybe like Amish or Mennonite, and he said, you can't force me to put this in their body. And they said, well, and the Supreme Court, which this has been the fucking problem for, well, since the idea of the Supreme Court's great, but when the Supreme Court starts legislating from the bench and changing laws from the bench, which is what the job of Congress is, that becomes a problem. And so that's why people get upset about, oh, this justice isn't liberal enough and this justice is too conservative.
Is that?
They're just supposed to read the law and say, hey, this is how it works.
I know.
There's no
that's
fucking gray area.
I know. They're like, well, this president's in, and this Supreme Court justice might die during his tenure. Yep. Who's he going to get on there? And then this
nobody gets to hold that over my
fucking,
head.
He's
Nobody
fucking
gets to hold
broads in college, and all this shit's going on. It's like, no. There's a lot bigger problems going on than all of the dog shit you people are going
it's weird. Like they throw all of these just insane scenarios. Like everybody is always running obstruction, whether that's Democrats, whether that's Republicans. If you're not in power, it's your job to obstruct any movement in that direction. And if you are in power, it's your job to just fucking steamroll through. And then, the people become more and more disenfranchised. Because for me, as a person who used to vote Republican and conservative, I wanted people that just were not trying to step on the idea that I am a free. I wanted it to be as close to the originalist fucking document, and understand there have been great changes made. I mean, for God's sakes, with race relations, with all of these different things. That guess what? The hive mind in 1770s was one that thought a certain way. And so as we've evolved as a society, we're like, oh yeah, that was kind of fucked up, but let's not throw out all the good shit, all the good ideas that they had, because they were just, captive to their time.
That's why I always love, like, white supremacists and Black Panther Party guys, like, they might be, like, into the same song. I always wonder, like, that one thing that binds these people that they have no idea they're both listening to, like, fucking Lionel Richie or some shit, you know what I mean? Like,
I would give anything to see a Klan rally just all night long.
They're like, he's half white, right, guys? Is he? Okay, whatever. It's fucking jam.
I would give anything to see that little wombats dancing in the background.
And I love those binding things, because you're right. This person is a huge piece of shit, but they like a couple good songs, or they're like.
But we probably
they're
have
like,
something in common.
Exactly.
And the only way you're going to change that person's mind is to have a conversation with them. And that goes far beyond race. That applies to everything. The second that people are like their first reaction to things that they don't agree with is ultimately cutting that person out, blocking that person, engaging, throwing a jab at someone they don't even know. It's so silly to me. Like I'm like, oh, there was actually an opportunity for you guys to be compelling there, and you weren't compelling. You took that opportunity to shit in the floor.
I don't really mind.
Which, ladies, the deal's still on. If you want to shit on live camera, we'll make millions of views.
Totally. When you're coming with a good one like the Pharisees or Philistines? What did he say? Oh, Pharisee.
That was so funny.
So if you're gonna be snarky and poetic and use words that no one's used before and be witty, like.
Also, that was in reaction
great
to
for that, and banter. I love banter back and forth.
Banter.
We're all pissy sometimes. Me and you, some days will be like,
God.
I know as a human, I've never met a human that usually I can say shit to people and they're like, well, fuck you then. You always got something, you'll be like, yeah, well, your mama pussy stink. Or just something to the
I've never said that. I like you,
never
Betty.
even come close to saying that. But I'm saying you're always like, oh, you think that was a good one? Here's a good one. And I'm like, motherfucker, dude.
Oh, it gets downright chippy.
It's so good, dude. But afterwards, I'm
grow.
like, oh,
we grow.
I know.
We grow. And that comes from, we all shit on the people we love the most, like when we're feeling the worst, because we think that the delta for forgiveness is so wide with them. You know, you don't want to take advantage of that, because some people I think also get stuck in I'm like, oh, people have excused this behavior your whole life, because if you talk to me like that, I'd break your teeth.
One of my favorite stories of all time, Craig used to play competitive gaming.
Computer true story, yeah.
And so, people talk shit online, but when I guess you go to an event, there's people everywhere.
This was at CPL in Dallas in 2003.
You can finish the story.
We were there playing Counter-Strike. It was a 5-on-5
That's
tournament.
like a
first-person shooter.
Kinda?
Before Call of Duty came out, Counter-Strike was the game. CS:GO was still, but this tournament paid $250,000 to the winning team. There was this killer team out of the Scandinavians were awesome. So there was always
the Scandinavians.
Dude, they were Ninjas in Pajamas was their first name, and then they turned into SK because they got sponsored by this group, and they were Scroat Commando, and they
Scroat Commandos.
Scroat Commando.
I like Scroat
probably meant that in their language. Anyway, so there were teams and my buddy Dave was a world-class CS player, probably top 5 player in the world. Got offered from
Dave that we know?
Yeah, Dave Brown. He's been to our parties. One of the best first-person shooter players you'll ever fucking meet. Got offered a contract right out of high school by AMD to go move to Kansas City and basically live in a house with these guys where they could LAN and do pub matches and scrim against other teams and.
What?
So yeah, so this shit's big, right? I'm a dog shit player. I'm a clubhouse guy. I'm the guy that throws the frag grenade and blows up the whole team. That's me. I'm just there for
Leroy Jenkins.
I am Leroy fucking Jenkins, and it was about that time that Leroy Jenkins, that whole thing came out, because I think World of Warcraft was just coming out about that time. Anyway, so we're out there and we're playing. We're just in this room. It's in the convention hall of the Hyatt Regency in Dallas. There are hundreds of neckbeards and gamers, as far as you can see. And then they have the stage where the teams play, and they have a whole big screen over here. It was big shit. It was E3 before E3 was big. It was called CPL, Cyber Athlete Professional League.
Yeah, because now it's huge.
Huge. Dude, this was in 03. So anyway, we're
Imagine
playing.
if you would have stuck with it or invested.
I wasn't good enough to. I totally would have liked to invest in it for sure. I knew it was big doings. I knew it was coming down because at that point, not everybody had high-speed internet.
Well, you talked about it when I first met you a few times.
We were going to LAN centers. A lot of people were going to LAN centers to play because a lot of people didn't have.
That's what the deal was.
That's
what the deal was.
So we go down there. We're playing. Hundreds of kids playing. And this little kid's just talking mad shit. He's probably he's smoking me, I'm sure. I fucking got. We're playing the scout. It's like a sniper map, and this kid, and he's he's running fucking junk. He is talking shit to the point where I have just fucking had it. And they had these balls, B-A-W-L-S, Guarana. It's like an energy drink in like a ribbed blue glass bottle. Okay, this event was like the event. This event was like the event where like balls had just came out and they knew who they were appealing to. They knew they were appealing to the gamers.
Yeah.
So they were selling the cases of this shit for like whatever, $1 a bottle or something. My buddy ends up buying a couple cases. We have a couple cases in our room. We're all sharing like one room because we're just gaming all night. No one's gonna even sleep, whatever.
Yeah.
Got a place where we can go fall for a minute. I'm fucking jacked. I've drank like 16 balls. Okay, I'm fucking jacked up. All right, and we're playing this game, and this kid just takes a headshot. All right, well, fuck, that's the game. That's the game. Whatever.
That's the game.
That's how you do it. Fuck, you got me.
Down again, boys. I'll get him next time.
He got me. And then he just starts talking shit, just fucking, your mom fucking blah, blah, blah. And I go, whatever. I don't even remember what he said, and I go,
your mom, blah, 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 blah.
I go, oh.
Wow, he was a master.
I go, oh, mother, or, he's probably calling me the hard F word. A lot that was running real rampant in gaming back in the day.
Still is.
Probably.
Still is.
Oh, that's
unfortunately, that's the only place
that
it
is
still
unbelievable.
That and the
to me.
N-word.
That is unbelievable to me. Because people are anonymous, and that's the point of this story. So this dude is just fucking running shit, and I go, oh. You think that's funny, motherfucker? You can talk, and this is when I'm a total fucking meathead too. Like I'm like, you think that's fucking funny? You think you can just say whatever you want to me? Like you're sitting in the protection of your mom's basement, and I'm not gonna come over there and beat the dog shit out of you? And like, I was like, I'm gonna stand up in my seat. I'm gonna stand up, motherfucker, and if you got a hair on you're gonna come over here and you're gonna say it to my face. And I got veins popping out of my head. My buddy is next to me dying laughing. I'm like, no, this isn't funny. He thinks he can do that. He can do that shit from his mom's basement with no repercussions.
I can just imagine you like
motherfucker
standing up glaring.
I did. I stood up and I'm just
glaring.
Just scanning the room.
And this kid's probably like right
dude,
here.
And that's what I was looking for. I was looking for the little pencil dick that was hiding behind his screen. There were just so many.
You were on balls!
I was on 16 balls. We're on them, baby. I was fucking macho manned up, dude. I had not found uppers at that point in my life.
Closest thing
but
to
that
it.
was I didn't realize that I was actually just going through like an amphetamine rage from like a half a case of energy drinks. We got anything on the text line there, Mike?
Yeah, we got Craig Gordon. I don't know what that means. Mike Linder, Counter-Strike was the fucking tip.
Hold on, he doesn't have a microphone.
Oh, sorry.
Turn your mic back on.
He didn't have a mic. Okay. Mike Linder says Counter-Strike was the tits. Hook it back up. You're good.
Yeah, give me that
Do your thing,
Mike,
bud.
read that shit.
Ricky Starling was a huge Counter-Strike nerd back in the day, too. My guy. Ricky's my guy. I think he still is. Rachel loves that. I had too shitty of internet even back then. He yada yada about your mother. Yada yada yada. Yeah, you got through the whole. You guys got the important parts.
That was funny. But to talk earlier,
we're talking about the ability to communicate without shitting on somebody else.
Yes.
I like our group to be a place where people can literally come and talk about the weirdest shit. Our original opening song on the radio told people to polish up their tinfoil hats.
People got fucking angry at Rob Glow.
This is ultimately what I'm covering. I mean, I think
I shouldn't have said his Christian full name on YouTube.
That's actually not his Christian full name. That's just his Facebook name.
Is it?
Yeah.
Rob Lowe.
I'll tell you what it is at break.
I want to learn it from him. I want to hear it from him.
Well, all right.
He will tell you. We shared some moments.
He will tell you. I'm a big Rob Glow fan.
I mean, huge.
And straight up, I am not affected personally by any of the things that Rob finds a passion in.
I'm open until I go out to fucking space.
That's right.
And I'm like, well, the fucking thing's a globe. Like the fucking. I'm
That's actually going to be your first reaction.
I
got something to build on. Go ahead.
So that's Rob Glow with the flat Earth shit and all the people are like, come on, man, fucking come on. I'm 99.9% sure this bitch is a globe. But I have 1% in my room to be like, motherfucker might be flat. I don't know. I
only know what they told me.
I only know what they fucking told me. I haven't been out there yet. And fucking Buzz Aldrin and like Glenn.
Buzz Aldrin has punched a guy in the face
for asking him.
For fucking.
Be like, are we really on the moon, motherfucker? Like, he was coming
that
at him.
guy was like.
I don't
showing
care.
up to everything.
Good for him.
Buzz Aldrin's a cockslinger. Okay, like that guy.
Cocksucker?
Slinger. He's a cock.
Why are
slinger.
you like, you got a big Buzz Aldrin fan over here? Who was the other guy? Fucking Glenn.
Neil Armstrong?
Glenn.
Oh, John Glenn?
John Glenn.
Yeah.
He's cool.
First one to orbit the Earth.
He fucked, dude.
They all
First
did
dude
and
in
should have.
space. They all got Corvettes. How about that shit?
Rightfully so. Give them a
Astronauts.
fucking Corvette.
I know, they need something that goes fast because a spaceship goes super fast. It's a science show. A lot of people don't know.
Speaking of space, this is a little non sequitur here.
Always.
Last night I was.
Oh, Jesus
Christ, Mike! No, I like to stare at space in my backyard. I have a nice little night sky typically.
Really?
I had the night sky app out where there's a lot of cool shit going on. Have you seen Starlink? Have you
those
seen
fucking
Starlink, buddy?
Are those things flying across the sky? I haven't seen it
last
yet.
night, kind of wrapping up some deck work. Just had some barbecues. Standing out there and smoking my pipe. My brother's there, Missy's there, Jenna's there. We're just checking out. It's a great sky. My brother's like, have you guys ever get a chance to see like any satellites
Elon
coming
Musk.
through or anything like that? I'm like, actually, I can usually track like 1 or 2 satellites coming over like right here. And he's like, oh, that's pretty cool. I didn't know what he was talking about. I mean, I've heard of it, but I didn't know that to be like looking out for that. Apparently, they just sent 15 more up, and they've already synced. Buddy, last night and tonight at 9:07, as soon as this show's over, you can step outside. If you got clear sky, you'll see it.
Let's do that.
Dude, it's a trip, okay? There were 30 stars, it looks like, and they're just in a line, in a rope, just running through the sky. And I'm like, oh shit, I wonder if that keeps mapping like across so I could see this all night. About less than 20 minutes later.
Kind of proves it's a globe, though, a little bit, right? If the satellites are going around.
Oh, maybe, or it's going like that.
Okay,
Yeah, but
you're right. 1% back in.
But less than 20 minutes later, it comes through again, and it's cool. Like it's overhead, and it just kind of seemingly disappears behind nothing. It's pretty wild.
I never
dude.
thought I could see
9:07
satellites.
tonight. I checked it out because we were talking about it a little bit, and Cynthia was asking about, hey, does anybody know what this star is?
Yeah.
And it turned out to be this nebula.
Yeah, that
dude,
was
I re-downloaded the Night Sky app last night, and it is in depth. If you pay, even if you don't pay for it, if you use the free version, you can click on a star, click the info. It'll tell you how old the star is. Fucking how hot it is. It'll get. I mean, the information on every star they have mapped is unbelievable. I was lost in it last night. Lost in it. Awesome.
That's wild.
It's
dude.
awesome, dude.
And like knowing how much the night sky meant to people before electricity, especially, and just before we had so much light pollution. And the way sailors had to get from place to place using the stars.
Yeah.
And people had to know when this star was in this place, maybe start planting the crops, or when these stars line up, that's when you fucking sacrifice the birds.
Yeah, toss her in a volcano.
Yeah, exactly. So all these just like, we're so connected that we've lost the connection because of light pollution. The pictures that people take, and even just, they say they can see the galaxy. You can see our fucking galaxy, like when you go out to Moab, Utah and shit like that. Like even the lake had a beautiful night sky, man.
Dude, it's awesome. I mean, anywhere you can get away from light pollution. That place that I did one of my ayahuasca ceremonies was in the middle of nowhere, Kansas. I mean, in the middle, there wasn't a light for fucking miles. And dude, I've never seen so many stars. I counted 13 shooting stars that night. Wow. Like it was the most amazing night sky I've ever seen. Those dark sites will humble you, and they will bring you fucking back to fucking how small you are in all of this and how crazy that is. I mean, I get fucking geeked out on that stuff. When we were talking about people getting upset about somebody else having different ideas. I was sitting with a guy the other night, and he was talking about, he's like, man, I'm just from the church of I don't fucking know. He's like, and anybody that is willing to admit that they don't fucking know is welcome in my church. You know, we come there, we spout off a bunch of shit, and then we acknowledge that, we don't fucking know.
Yeah.
You know, and it's, I mean, how liberating.
Except Gary here. Gary here got 99% of it right.
One of the best bits in any sitcom ever. The Good Place is tremendous. If you guys haven't checked it out.
In the first episode, this guy does a mushroom trip. They're in heaven, and it's the
They're in the good
afterlife.
place. They're
Yeah,
in the good
so
place.
it's this afterlife that it's totally unique. And they're like, well, one guy got it.
Yeah, nobody really everybody mostly gets it wrong.
Yeah, all the religions pretty much got it wrong, but this guy over here on mushrooms,
He's like 94% right.
Yeah,
So we made a clap for him.
Yeah, and he kind of looks at it like, he fucking marvels at the dude. I love that shit.
It's fucking
man.
tremendous.
All right, you want to hit him with another break here, and then.
Actually, real quick, just to wrap things up, the idea that we are. That we can't communicate about things that we disagree with. You know, the whole idea of like the Socratic method, right? I mean, I feel like we should all constantly be questioning everything.
Totally. You're an asshole if you do that.
I mean, can you imagine? I know everybody kind of points to this, but imagine if, you know, nobody ever took, if Galileo didn't stick to his guns, or Copernicus, or, you know, like huge breakthroughs. Were people basically saying, I know that this is what everybody thinks, but actually this is probably more likely. And everyone's like, you fucking heretic!
Fuck you! Graham Hancock, people hate
Graham
that
Hancock
fucking guy.
Posted something amazing today. Maybe we'll cover that after a little break.
Nice
we'll get into that. We'll get into that a little bit.
Because my streaming pick of the week is one of the best movies I've seen.
I'm gonna watch it tonight.
In a long time, and I don't want to get your hopes up anything.
No,
but
that's fine.
It was impressive.
I've been watching
an impressive movie.
Okay,
that had
I'm with
me.
it. I'm with it.
So we'll cover those after our break.
Let's tease that a little bit. Should we give him what do you want to give him? Let's give him that Sweet Leaf commercial, Mike, and then we'll jump.
Well, hold on. Let's give him something fun before Sweet Leaf go down.
Okay.
What else we got? Scene 2. Give him Bigfoot Willie.
Ooh, I like that.
You ready?
Yep.
This is exactly what you're talking about. I'm trying to send Bigfoot a message to let him know why I need to meet him. My fans all call me Bigfoot Willie Jr. 'Cause Bigfoot Willie Sr. is my paw. Mama's name, it ain't the same. Her name is Shirley. And she's in prison due to a run-in with the law. You see me, my ma and pa, we was in business. The business of tracking a Bigfoot down. The feds, they say our business wasn't honest, so they cuffed my mama and dragged her butt downtown. Bigfoot, I know you're out there, can you hear me? Without her, our family ain't the same. It's me, your old pal, Bigfoot Willie Jr. I won't hurt you, but I gotta clear her name. It was shortly after that my pa went loony, 'cause he'd seen a biped ape man in the woods. There's nobody left in town that would believe him, so I promised I'd find Bigfoot if I could. So each night after last light I get to walking, casting plaster molds of the freshest Sasquatch prints. Through the Klamath Mountains I'll be stalking, also I can prove my mama's innocent. Bigfoot, I know you're out there, can you hear me? It's me, your old pal, Bigfoot Willie Jr. Please don't go and Sasquatch all my dreams.
That was tremendous.
Hey girl, where you wanna go?
I don't care, I just love you.
Are you hungry? Do you wanna get something to eat?
I don't care, I'm kinda hungry.
Well, what sounds good?
Anything sounds good, you pick.
How about some Mexican?
No, I had that for lunch yesterday.
How about we get some Italian food?
Ew.
Okay, now you're not saying anything and just giving me a
want
look.
Something delicious.
What does that even mean?
I want to sit outside.
Applebee's?
Applebee's
No,
is
Applebee's.
gross.
Well,
I'm not
Applebee's is
eating
good.
Applebee's.
I don't know why you're always
Applebee's
hating on
fries are
Applebee's.
disgusting.
Applebee's is one of
They're
my favorite darn
gross.
places to go ever.
I'm not eating Applebee's.
I wanna go to Truman's. Let's go to Truman's. Soulard, go to Truman's. I wanna go to Truman's. In Soulard, take me to Truman's. We agree on Truman's. I love Truman's. Soulard, I love Truman's. Soulard. Truman, 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 Truman. Truman's in Soulard, a place we can all agree upon.
James Carlton. James Carlton. James Carlton. You gotta get your insurance. Gotta get that State Farm insurance.
You think you found the best insurance agent in the game? Well, I got news for you. I did, and it's James Carlton. State Farm. CarltonInsurance.net.
Hey everybody, I'm just making this post as a little public service announcement. I recently had a roof leak and I got online and called the #RoofBoys. They showed up and they didn't have a truck. They came out of the woods near my home, which was odd. When they showed up, I'm pretty sure they were children. The little one was aggressive. He was beating on my garage. He was shirtless and had a tattoo that said Bug Life. And the older one didn't have a ladder and said he would climb my roof by getting on the pillar, and he was slapping a spatula around, which I don't know what a spatula does for roofing. So if you want a reputable roofer, I recommend you go to Lifetime Roofing and Renovation, located in Webster Groves. They've been around since 2005, and they're grown men.
Hey guys, it's me, Kippy the Crazy Koala Bear, and I'm here to tell you about James Carlton Insurance.
Kids, quiet down.
It's the best.
Kids, quiet down and listen to Kippy.
Grown-ups need insurance, and Uncle James can help.
Right on.
Grown-ups need insurance. He's got the best reviews on Yelp. Grown-ups need insurance if they want to protect their house.
Yes, sir.
Grown-ups need insurance if they want to properly bury a spouse.
That's a bit morbid.
Grown-ups need insurance if they drive a truck.
Okay.
Grown-ups need insurance just so they don't get.
Whoa, Kippy, you can't.
Well, I was just
no,
gonna
you
say
cannot.
get in trouble.
Okay, well, it
You
sounded
don't
like you
wanna
were going
get in trouble.
like you were going to say something else. James Carlton, State Farm Insurance. You can find him online at carltoninsurance.net, or you can call him at 314-961-4800.
Hey everybody, you can't see us, but we can see you.
Welcome back.
Everybody.
Fun little chat tonight, buddy.
I've been having a good time.
I've been having a real good time. Quarantine's not getting the best of me. I'll tell you
I'm
that.
fucking done with it. I'm done.
I really
with
am
it, Craig,
taking.
because going down to the lake, I know what I want to do with my life now. I saw a dad.
Lake life?
I saw a dad and his son just fucking filleting up some crappie as the sun was going down. They're at the end of the dock. Just fucking living their best life, dude. It was awesome. I should have one.
That's all right. No worries. We'll wait for Mike. Oh, look at you go.
And I was like, dude, that should be me and Oliver and Ivan right now, like fucking filleting up some fish. Jen could be getting some shit ready in the kitchen, you know, not to fucking stereotype, but she's a great fucking cook.
She is.
So that going on and just the sun going down, and it's like, man, you don't have a fucking time clock that you're fucking working to. You're just fucking there, living in the moment, every moment, seeing wildlife too. Like we saw another bald eagle. We saw 2 huge turtles. You know, crappie are beautiful fish. Like, I mean, it's an amazing experience just being out there and being more one with the universe around you.
I love that placid lake morning where everything's still pretty still.
At night, it was still as a pill.
Come on through, bud. You're good. Just step on through there.
Jesus Christ. But yeah, it was.
The
day it was so windy, but during the night it was so calm and still, and catfish fishing off the dock at night. Like, goddamn.
I'm a river guy. I get it. You know, same.
Yeah.
I mean, I think they each have their appeal. I think a lot of people are lake
I'm
people.
a river guy too.
I think I prefer being on the river. There's something about that running water.
Totally.
And just you know, it laying over
And
the top.
we have fucking the best rivers in
Dude,
Missouri.
one of the picture that shows the river map throughout Missouri is such a cool shot, man. Like no matter where you are in this state, you have a running body of water real close to you that you can enjoy, and I love that, man.
Yeah,
I absolutely love it.
It's awesome. The Ozarks are such a cool area too. The hillsides when you're driving around.
Have you guys gone? Have you ever been to Hahatonka?
No, but someone was talking about that.
Yeah, I
That was
think
on our
Alan
page.
Shaw posted
Yeah.
about it the other day. It sucks because there used to be this castle that sat up on top of the hill that you could actually walk up to.
Yeah, I saw some pictures of people who had been there
But
before.
as far as a hike in the trail and everything, it is a beautiful hike. It's in the lake area. And I mean, just there are so many spots throughout Missouri that offer you a little bit of every kind of topography. You know, whether that's a lake, whether that's a river, whether that's a plateau, hills, little mountainsides.
I mean, the Big Piney's got cliff sides. It's got little jungly areas. It's got like little tributaries that lead off. It's got farmland.
The first time we took you there was for my son Landon's birthday.
Those kids.
And I remember
Those
you just
fools.
saying, like, God, this place is teeming with wildlife. And
Dude,
it is.
It looks like it's untouched.
That's one of the biggest appeals for me to that whole area is like there are so many rivers that are heavily populated, and that's fun. Like I love a good, I call them spring break floats, like, you know,
Totally.
where
Like,
they're just
if
a
there's
total rager on the river. Those are fun. But man, get me in a little boat, you know, and you're not doing that right in the mic, are you, by chance? Okay.
Yes.
I think it was picking it up. You're all good.
You're all good. You're all good. Production.
But you know, I love a spring break float, but man, put me in a canoe or a raft in the middle of nowhere, and let me hear the water running around and just see all of the different wildlife. You got a nice little alligator snapping turtle a couple weeks ago.
Little baby one.
It was about this big.
Dude, it was amazing.
Which made me think when you caught that, like, made me think of the Ninja Turtles. You know, because it shows them and they crawl around in the ooze and then they become these big fighting turtles, right? Well, then Shredder gets a hold of the technology. And Shredder decides he's going to make Bebop and Rocksteady, right? And Bebop was like he was like a warthog with a mohawk. Rocksteady was a fucking alligator snapping turtle. Like, just turtles? That's just what we're just gonna do. Turtles, guys. Like we can only do turtles.
I thought that was weird. But then in the
Bothers
second
me.
one, they had like a wolf, and remember.
And Secret of the Ooze? Secret of the Ooze?
Yeah.
Oh, I do remember that.
Razor and Ramon. Razor Ramon.
Razor Ramon?
Yeah, no, it was something.
Hey, yo. Hey, yo. Razor Ramon said, hey, yo.
That's Sylvester Stallone. Razor Ramon.
Did you ever watch Razor Ramon?
Yeah.
Hey, yo. And then he flicked the toothpick at the camera. Anyway.
He's an asshole.
But we digress.
He was an asshole.
He was one of my faves. Love me some Scott.
I mentioned something on the fan page earlier too. I wanted to get to about what if we gave everybody $1 million?
Okay.
What if we did that? What if instead, like the stimulus?
$1 million wouldn't be $1 million.
Why?
Now, I like where you're going there. That's great. Well, because because the worth is directly correlated, right? So like if everybody got $1 million times. We'll just call it taxpaying dollars times 180 million.
I was trying to figure out how
you're
much
talking about. I mean, you're talking about 1.8 quadrillion, maybe.
I think it was 100. I figured it out to be 300 trillion or maybe a quadrillion. I couldn't figure out all the zeros.
I mean, you know,
like
exponentially larger than the world gross domestic product. So, I mean, we could all have $1 million. It'd be fine, but it'd be just like what happened to the German, currency after World War II. It would be virtually worthless.
Here's the deal, though. We're in charge of everything.
If you'd like to think so.
The U.S.
Okay.
Is in charge of the world policy. Like, we're running the world as far as the world goes.
Yeah, but what does that even look like? Because
it means military bases on every part of the earth.
No doubt. But I mean, is that America? Like, is that
putting
us
sanctions,
owning it? I mean, here's my deal.
And putting sanctions on any country that we don't fucking really agree
which is an
with
act
what
of
they're
war,
doing.
by the way. A sanction is an act of war. But if you are, is it really the United States that owns everything? Because no matter who we elect in the office, do things really change all that much? Or on all those bases, which are basically built of a bunch of products that are made by private contractors, the military-industrial complex.
Yeah.
I mean, they're really the owners of everything.
Yes. They're part of the government, though.
I mean,
what do you know that I don't? What do you know that I don't?
Who's calling the shots, right? Like, I mean, no matter who.
Commander-in-Chief.
Yeah, you'd like to think. You'd like to think. I don't think so.
Okay, well, I'm just saying, at the point of time we're in right now.
Okay,
I'm
if
not
you gave
saying
everybody
it
$1 million.
Like, I was trying to read up on, because I hated Econ 4 at Mizzou, hated it. Because my brain just doesn't work. It's like, well, we really do have enough supplies for everyone's basic demands.
And some. And then some.
Yes, and then some. But we're always like, well, don't grow corn. That way we can keep the corn market so that it'll be worth more to some farmers, but we'll subsidize this. And it gets really convoluted when, if you see the amount of like produce America throws out, because we're like, oh, it's fucking shaped weird and the grocery store won't take it. So we throw away all of this shit. We could be, what I'm saying is we're rapidly, to go back to AI, we're rapidly heading, and that's why we need 5G. That's why I'm a little, vaccines and 5G. Vaccines are weird to me because they have formaldehyde and mercury and fucking like egg embryo. Like when I was really looking into it, I'm like, this is fucking weird. You know what I mean? Like I guess all of them have a purpose in there and there's only a little bit, but how many little bits before it's like, fuck? Yeah, and 5G, people are like, well, that's fucking making people sick. And it's like, I'm like, oh God, is it? Radiation and wavelengths, it's been proved. We have weaponry. The military has weaponry that is similar to the hertz that 5G towers kind of emit, but they say, oh, it's not really putting out that little bit, won't hurt you. You know what I mean? All this stuff. It's like, okay, but the 5G is needed for the internet of all things. That's why they're putting 5G everywhere. For everything that's going to have the internet in it. What?
Starlink.
Starlink, dude, exactly. So when they connect everything, the amount of jobs and things we'll be able to get done with automation and robotics. Like there's a movie called with George Clooney, it's called like fucking Foreverland or some shit, like Tomorrowland.
Tomorrowland, yeah.
And the world that's the fictional world in that thing is this place where they've kind of figured all that shit out. Like, oh, with, you know, we're figuring out these drones can do pretty much fucking anything. They can plant crops, they can pull the crops, they can, okay, we got a little Roomba that works in the field. We got all this shit that, okay, all of our needs are met. So all of our resources and stuff, and then 3D printing houses, it's like, oh, okay, well, they got these people from fucking MIT or Stanford. They had this tournament of houses. It was on that thing I picked for Streaming Picks of the Week, the artificial intelligence thing with Robert Downey Jr. They 3D printed, they had like a rubber and rock mix. And they started out with like a little base and then got bigger, wider, and then came back up, kind of like an egg shape. They took a bulldozer and put it on top of it, and it lifted the bulldozer up. It was so strong, this structure they had built. And it built it in fucking 2 hours, or 6 hours or whatever they had. So our housing is all these things that we think take so much effort, we're almost to the point where they're going to be so easy. Things are so easy to make now. And we're in a society where we're like, consume, throw away. Jenny and I want to get all old furniture because I was like mad at the fucking Blues game or something. I was like, I hit the table and shit and like cracked down. I'm like, God damn it, old oak table. I could punch it 1,000,000 times and it's going to bloody my fist before I break this fucking thing. Fucking predators. But so the whole thing, the world is rapidly advancing towards this world. And I just thought to myself, I'll have these thought experiments in my head and then I'll pick them apart in my head. Be like, well, you're an idiot because of this. And with the $1 million thing, I'm like, I get inflation. And what I was trying to read up on the economy thing that brought me here is that I understand when people are spending money, people are making money. I understand the economy works. And then the Fed kind of has a lever on it that kind of, we need to lower interest rates so people need to spend more. And it's always over 20-year cycle and like a 120-year cycle. There's these things that always kind of happen with economies. They've figured out other countries are on like same things that are the exact same path. So there's a wave, ebb and flow to the economy, to all these world economies. By giving everyone $1 million in America, we're kind of like the superpower right now. And I get what you're saying, that who's really running shit. That if they gave like right now the country of the Qatar that is having. Now, they can't find really a lot of construction workers. They're having to get construction workers in from other countries that are paying shit. But everybody's so rich there right now because they're such an oil-rich country and there's so few people. It's like everybody's doing pretty fucking good. Like Dubai and shit like that. People
all the
live
United Arab Emirates.
Yes, there's a lot of surplus money, and it's like, our currency is fiat anyway. The only thing keeping it sound right now is the petrodollar. Everybody trades oil. And if we're talking about data being the new oil, we're on the way out. We're on the way out. Like, that's, sorry, but we have enough resources to take care of our shit.
It's never been a matter of supply. It's a matter of logistics. We have enough to feed every mouth on the planet, but
and imagine
it's
if
all
you had
about
drones,
infrastructure.
instant
There is no
delivery.
infrastructure in Africa. I mean, and
Africa's the next big
but
thing
why
to happen.
is that? You look at that and it's like, it's ridiculous. Like, Akon can go down there and build a power grid for an entire fucking area. It's not a lack of money either. Like, it's just nefarious forces forces.
Greed is fucked up.
So, well, it is, but it's also human. It's human nature. Thank you, sir. But anyway.
Okay, so if you give everybody $1 million, I understand that inflation when money kind of means nothing, but I feel like we're already there. Like, we're already overinflated from the time of the good old days of America when our dad could work one job, have 7 kids, buy a car, buy a house, have them paid off. Oh God, I thought you spilled something. I thought I spilled. I'm more when you're just had a mini heart attack. But the argument is that people would stop working when they would. Some people would be like, my job sucks. It's bringing zero meaning to the world. But we're acting like people who are very well off, who don't really need to work, are like, I ain't doing shit. I'm just gonna fucking kick back and fucking lounge around. No, they're innovating. They don't have the bullshit of being like, I don't really care for my job and I gotta go there 10 hours today and then I got to come home, and then I got to look for a new job, and then I got to sit in traffic, and then I have this to do, and then I have this report to fill out, and then, you know, this is what I thought I was getting myself into after college, and maybe I should make a change. And it's like, no, there's a whole... That's not what we're here to do. That's not what we're here to do. We're here to live in the moment. We talk about it all the time, yet we're still okay with just kind of being like, yeah, that's the kind of the status quo. And I'm over that, because I think people, when you do have innovation, when you do have time, you have innovation. And when people have their needs met, they have more time to innovate. And innovation leads the world to beautiful places.
I think that is a
naive,
great outlook. I think it's tremendously optimistic.
Yeah.
Because I think that right now is a perfect example. A lot of people right now, and more power to them, but a lot of people right now are probably making more money if they're on unemployment than they would be working. Okay. Now, here's a very interesting way to go about it. Nobody thinks that those people are like getting ahead.
How big was the stimulus package? Trillion? Was it a trillion? Is it that much?
They've spent trillions so far.
Okay.
I think the first one.
So I was trying to figure out how that would. I was like, well, we're going to have inflation, because
we're going to experience tremendous inflation.
Well, what the deal is every now and then the Fed can put a bunch more money and flood it in there. The way our system and economy is set up as a fiat currency, that there's no gold standard, so it doesn't matter what it's backed by, which I don't even really understand the gold standard anyway, but I was like, it's fucking gold, fucking worth something. Like, to who?
Gold's worth a lot for a lot. I mean,
it looks cool.
No, I mean, it's
malleable.
It's used in so many. Electronics especially. Like
dog shit. They fucking just keep it in fucking like bars and shit. Just
I
fucking
mean, that exists as well.
It's so dumb. It's so dumb that it's worth a lot of shit. It's so dumb. We're so dumb. What's wrong with us? Yeah, I don't know. I was just trying to pick apart that idea.
Well, 100 million is a huge number. So it would instantly, I mean, 1 million is a huge number, especially multiplied by almost 200 million people.
So, okay,
and
you can't pull it out as
couldn't
cash.
inject that much. Well, okay, that's fine. But okay, so to finish my point,
because right now we couldn't take out.
There are a lot of people who are making more than they typically would, who have ultimately very often said, you know, I can't get ahead. I'm only falling behind. I don't make enough. I need to make, we'll call it $15 an hour.
50% of people are living paycheck to paycheck, probably more.
A bunch of people are living paycheck to paycheck, which may not very well be the case right now. You don't have the same amount of expenses that you normally do. You're not spending as much on fuel because you're probably not traveling all that much. Like there's everybody's food. Grocery stores are seeing record years. Food sales are up 100%. Which is crazy, right? People are bored,
and restaurants are going out of business.
And restaurants are going out of business. A bunch of people are getting a bunch of food. They're probably never going. They're going to throw out so much produce. It's like it's this weird hoarding thing going on. There still isn't fucking toilet paper on the shelves. What is the matter with these people? What's the matter with you people?
I don't get it.
It's bullshit.
I don't get it.
Anyway, but people are also being presented an opportunity to put some money away, to save some money, to invest some money, to start playing that game. How many will? Some will, not a bunch. And that's kind of the human condition. There are people, you said there are people that are innovating right now. You think people that have millions of dollars in the bank are stopping because of this? They can. They certainly have the right, but actually they're probably trying to pull strings if they're business owners, trying to figure out how to keep them afloat through all of this. They've got a whole new set of problems, right? Us sitting with $1 million in the bank, well, if everybody has it, even the people that are selling goods, they don't have a whole, and it's worth the same amount of money, they don't have a whole lot of need to produce more. They're not going to keep producing because they don't have the need for the income, and the people that are need to go buy it, they can go buy it.
That's why I'm saying our food and housing, a lot of it would have to turn to automation. And like with drones,
which is all logistics, which can only be solved by AI, and that's
algorithms.
People have said, you know, the car. They said
because truckers are on their way out.
Blacksmiths would have nowhere to go. Truckers are on their way out. Data entry people are on their way out. Well, there used to be people that would shoot peas at your window to wake you up in the morning, and people that swept the fucking streets by hand.
The Stooges fucking did that skit with the fucking ice box when the ice cube when they had. They used to have to bring blocks of ice in people's fucking houses.
There will
Old city houses have coal fucking chutes.
I mean, the chimney sweep, they still exist, but like not in the numbers that they used to. You know what I mean? Like they're used to.
You're passionate about the chimney sweep.
I'm here to say big chimney. I'm here to say big chimney. They're often overlooked.
I've never heard about them.
There will always be menial tasks to be performed for amount of. It makes me think of Black Mirror with the bikes. Eventually,
that's crazy.
Like, could all those people be provided for? Yeah, sure. But there's also this task that needs to be done. That having robots do it isn't cost effective.
Okay, I'm sorry.
No, so I'm just saying, like, there's going to be even more of a separation for a little while.
Okay.
Where we go to this universal basic income that's based around it's based around this automated society, but it's not going to solve winners and losers. It's not going to solve the thing that people are going to keep. There's always going to be a gap between the top and the bottom because of the gears that people run on. Totally.
Good.
And so you have to allow those people to innovate. You have to allow those people to
Because the motherfucker
succeed.
at the bottom who's trying to get to that spot, he's innovative as fuck too.
I hope so.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, people talk about this
innovative.
is something that more and more creators, people that are actually making money creating, talk about. Like, in a world of universal basic income where there are no more burger flippers or whatever.
Where does that come? Where does that money come from?
What's that?
The universal basic income.
Well, I know, like, okay, so Neil Bortz co-wrote this book about the fair tax, where he made a play for or a plan. It's such a fucking succinct plan, and there have been people that have raised questions. They wrote a second book to answer all those. Like, it is very involved, but it would essentially eliminate all income tax and all business taxes and put all of the taxes on the sales side, which is how it should be. We should be taxed based on consumption. I mean, the income tax is barely a century old. You know, like so the idea that. But that doesn't work in a Keynesian model where the Fed can just print fucking money wherever. Because they can do that on the notion that each one of us is worth a certain amount of dollars. Yeah. You know, our Social Security number is a bond, right? Like, and I'm not even getting off into that whole tangent. But
that's a whole deal.
But very seriously, we are conscripted with debt the moment that we were born an American citizen. And that is, and so people are like, well, who's going to call in that debt? We're not really sure how that works. The one thing that America did right when leveraging itself to the tits with all of these other countries is like, okay, we're just going to spend 3/4 of it on having the fucking best weapons in the world, that if you want to come get your money, you're going to learn something.
Get it. You know? It's in the fortress. Come get it, bud.
Yeah, come on.
Have you seen the stealth bomber? We made that like 40 years ago, and it's still the best thing the fucking world has ever seen as far as warplanes go. I wonder, though, perfect world scenario and just a thought experiment, or maybe some countries are doing this that I'm not even well versed enough on, but say a hedge fund manager ran your tax situation. So any tax surplus you had would go into like someone who's investing in other shit. So theoretically, your tax money is all going into a major hedge fund, because a hedge fund is just a bunch of rich people putting it all together.
I mean, it is.
Trying to make more money because they have more money.
Yeah, but I mean, you know, the Treasury is always run by like the CEO of Goldman Sachs, an ex-CEO. I mean, the hedge fund managers, for all hedge fund managers, like,
are actually running
these
it
are the
anyway.
people that run it at the top levels of government regardless. They all have methods of creating wealth, I suppose. All of them are different, but that whole game in and of itself it's parimutuel. So the idea of, you have to have winners and losers because the stock market itself is based on buying winners and selling losers. That's the idea, right? Like, now it's gotten way out of control since the 80s, like with Michael Milken, when they started packaging junk bonds and when they started speculating. People have always been speculating. I mean, going back to the Dutch trading tulips,
and you have to do that. You have to have credit for a fucking, you have to think how much is going to be grown. You know what I mean, and bet on that to get the people to grow it too. You know what I mean? Like,
sure,
there has to be a credit system in place. It's just, I wonder too about money. Like, who's the first guy to be like, hey, I got this fucking shiny thing that fucking.
Yeah. Well, I think it started
Pirates.
as a trinket, right?
Wasn't it pirates who, again, I heard that before.
Well,
Reddit,
going
pirates,
way back. I mean, there's been currency going back to,
Sumerians, the
yeah,
first written.
ancient cultures.
Yeah.
Because it makes more sense than trying to transport whatever you're trading with someone else. This guy needs saffron. Okay, great. What am I going to fucking bring a bale of saffron?
It's a trust. It's a system of trust.
Yeah, it's just a placeholder. It's a go-between between the things that you want and the things that you can acquire.
I don't know. I just think,
there's still people that get by bartering. Like there's still plenty of people that are. I love a good horse trader, man. I sold limos for a while. Like that game was so much fun just because the people that you're talking to, they're all horse traders. Dude, everybody's trading horses.
I saw a Facebook memory the other day of when I bought my living room furniture. Jenny and I had been everywhere, and we found this place in Gravois, like the industrial complex. It's one of those one-offs that it's like a warehouse, and it just kind of has a little setup. We've been to Ashley and all the places. Weekends only. Did that whole thing for a whole weekend. And I'm wheeling and dealing and every one of these, bud. And she's like, Jesus Christ, just like, can we pick one of these and get out? I'm like, no, they always come down on the price. That's the deal at these places. Like, I'm going to talk them down. So she's like, fine. We finally get to this last place and we see something we really like. And we're like, dude, this is it. So I go over there and I'm like, hey, how much, bud? How much we come down? He's like, it's pretty much, that's the price. We're at the lowest we can. I'm like, let's get real. How much are we going to come down here? And he's like, no, that's like the idea of this store. Everything's already, like car salesmen now are. They're like, we'll give you more for your trade-in, but we have to price everything at bottom dollar.
The internet ruined car sales for car sales.
Ruined it, because everybody can be like, well, this guy's got it for $200 less.
Exactly what happened, yep.
The fucking smart consumer is ruining everything, and I love it.
Yeah.
So I'm getting ready to be like, I'm out of here, bud. This is the way you guys do business here. You're not gonna mess with the MSRP. Get the fuck out of here. He's like, no, it's already marked down from the MS. And Jenny's like, please, let's just get this and go. And I'm
buy
like,
it and let's go.
I'm gonna walk away, see what his move is. I start walking away. Well, I see this painting in the corner, fire oil painting, the one over my mantle. And I'm like, how much for the painting, buddy? And he's like, he's confused. He's just confused. So he's like, I gotta call the manager and see if we even sell those. I'm like, yeah, you do that. So he calls the manager and he's like, yeah, some guy wants to buy this fucking painting in here. I'm like, no, I don't want to buy it. I want you to throw it in, sweeten the deal. I don't want to pay any money for it. So he's like, yeah, the guy just wants the painting. And the guy's like, I don't know, man. It's like, that's an oil painting. That's a nice painting. And I'm like, I know a good painting when I see one.
Yeah, you actually have a good eye for art. You got a good eye for
I just
oil
like what I like.
painters.
I like what I like. I like oil painting. I
Yeah.
do. So, so I'm like, well, if you throw that in, we're gonna end this right now. We'll end it right now. And the guy's like, oh, okay, well, I gotta see if like we have any more, and maybe I can price it up and just kind of. And I'm like, all right, fine. Kind of like getting like, he's like, fine, take it. Wraps it. We had to come back and get it, or they delivered the couches. So I'm walking out with just that fucking painting, right?
Good for you.
So I'm like, good deal. And I'm like, one of a fucking kind. As I'm walking out, I see like another one that's like almost an exact replica, like hanging out in the corner. I'm like, fuck me, dude. Like, I saw I know, dude. I was like, shit. That thing's hanging over my mantle right now, though, and I look at it every day like, what a barter man you are.
Because I have heard just some of the characters that I sold with and sold to, like, just great people. I always talk about Pat Blue. He'd always have, like, just...
Pat Blue.
Like, the color of the sky, man. Right. He was the best, man. He was awesome. But, like, I sold used limos with my buddy Mike, and, like, he was just the type of dude that, like, no matter, like, if you were taking in a trade... or we were in the middle of a sale, like he would remind me a lot of you. Like he'll just say the thing I would have never thought to say, that I'm like, ooh, that's a 50-50 one. Yeah, I know. That's either going to blow this whole fucking thing up, or they're about ready to, or they're jumping in bed. It's one or the other. And dude, I watched it. This guy was trading in he was trading in this Chevy Avalanche that we were taking in on a trade towards.
I like a Chevy Avalanche.
Towards
I'm sorry.
we were taking it in towards a limo because we'd sell all kinds of cars, whatever. And it's got like there's like a little holster in the car. I'm like, oh, it's like a universal holster. I'm like, oh, that's kind of cool. Like a leather holster. I'm like, oh yeah,
gun holster.
Yeah. It was like sitting in the center console, like the shit he left in his car.
Oh shit. Okay.
We traded it in. He's like, oh yeah. He's like, I meant to clean all that stuff out. Just whatever.
Throw it away.
He goes, I don't know. He's like,
was it an Avalanche limo?
He's like, no.
Okay.
He was just trading it towards. And so like, there's like CDs in it or whatever, and pulls out one of them, and it's Casting Crowns, which is like they're like a big time Christian.
Yeah, I've heard of them. Yeah.
Okay. Well, our neighbor, who is also kind of a car dealer, like just down the strip, he happened to be there, and the customer's sitting there, and he's a big time, like really involved with the church. Just fucking the best kind of Christian dude.
Yeah.
Just but
Good
clean,
one. Yeah.
super clean, like never cusses, never anything. And he's like, "Oh, dude, is that Casting Crowns?" He's like, "Man, I love that group." And the guy's like, "Oh yeah, I don't know if you guys really know anything about Christian music." And Mike's sitting there, and Mike looks at him like, "You kidding me? I fucking love Christian music, man." Oh, dude. And it was just like,
Did the guy like it?
It was like that uncomfortable laugh. That like,
I know that one.
It was
I know that one.
But my point was like, he would always just drop these bombs to people that I would never even. I'm kind of kissing this guy's ass. I don't speak the same language as him. That was a sermon. No, Mike goes the other way.
Yeah.
I love the back and forth. I got to where I absolutely loved selling for a living. I love the banter with people.
You're good. I like to watch you in action.
I love to be in a situation with like a decision maker.
Yeah.
And be able to put someone on the money and vice versa. And
it's
like,
cool.
I think that some of the best of humanity comes out in those little. Because everybody's a salesman. Every single person on this planet is a salesperson. If you want to teach your kid anything to be successful in life, teach them how to sell.
Yeah.
Because they're always going to be selling themselves. No matter what job they're going for, they're going to be selling themselves. No matter what they're trying to complete in their task, they're going to be trying to sell that solution. It's the greatest skill.
And it'll make you grow up, like putting on your. I remember doing a selling job when I was 19, and I was like, "Well, they said no a bunch," and the guy who was fucking doing it was like, "You don't think I've heard no 100 million times in my life?" Smoking a fucking cigarette in his office, fucking legs spread open. I'm like, "What is this, Sharon Stone? You settle down over there." All right. He was trying to get me to sell like coupon books in November that expired in December. He was just a shyster.
Oh man.
And but I learned, it made me grow up to be like, oh, you in these business deals, it's not personal. That's the whole deal. Like, and it's a very good way to learn how to have big boy conversations and big girl conversations.
I still have like this crippling anxiety of picking up a phone to cold call someone. Cold calling is like it's the hardest, most humbling thing
you just say,
can you imagine
putting you on the news?
Excuse me, sir. Are you recording?
You're on the
because
news.
I am, and you're on the news.
Yeah, I want to start doing that. And then like I'm putting you on the news instead of just be like, you're on the news.
Go. You're on the news. Shoot.
Yeah, what do you got?
I forgot where we were going.
Mike, I don't know.
Well, just the idea
the conversations, big boy meetings, big girl.
Oh, I still have a crippling anxiety with cold calling, because imagine just calling somebody out of the blue and saying, "Hey, do you need a $70,000 car?"
A couple people have gotten me though, like
on
cold calling.
Good ones do.
Yeah.
And that's the whole deal. Is I had to fail at that for so long before I figured out that I have to present value to someone in order to get them to trust me enough to do business with me. Yeah. And so I leaned on some of those older salesmen, man, and these dudes were just fun to talk to. They made you feel, it's like Rick Doblin. Rick Doblin is a great salesperson because Rick Doblin makes you feel good, important enough to be heard.
He's a great
right?
hunter.
And so when you're cold calling somebody, you have to present a value. And like when you're selling cars over the phone, luxury cars over the phone, like they're starting at $70,000. Like when you do that, like how do you start that conversation? And I learned, I have to ask them if I can do something for them. Do you have any trades that you're looking to? You have any cars you're looking to sell? Our pre-owned inventory is kind of low right now. I'm just looking to buy a car.
Feels a little sleazy.
But it's not though, because I was interested in buying their car.
Exactly.
I was interested in doing that. They were the value they were